Oh, we can see ourselves.
Yes, we can see ourselves.
That works. Okay.
And I'll probably want you I'll probably do a close-up review that says, "Hi, I'm Nick," or you're
Get to
and you're
know me
watching,
with
like,
that. Oh, okay, cool.
with Ashley.
You're watching Disney Channel.
Yes, exactly.
Hi, I'm Nick Finocchio, and you're watching Get to Know Me.
Hi guys, so today I'm here with my amazing best friend, Nick Finocchio. And Nick Finocchio is an amazing photographer who has years of expertise under his belt. He's been doing campaigns, editorials, runway photo shoots, as well as weddings. And most recently, he is the creative director of the cutting-edge skincare brand called Mask. So I'm super excited to have you. We're gonna have some fun on this interview.
I'm excited.
Yeah, he's a little nervous, but it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
So nice to have you, Nick, and thank you for doing this with me.
Of course, thanks for having me. I've never done this before, so
First time.
yeah,
Yay.
it's nice to try it out.
Yeah, and we have wines to relax us.
Yeah,
Cheers.
cheers.
Yeah, we're gonna just check it.
Okay.
Okay, so I have some questions. We're gonna break it up into 3 parts. So first, I'm gonna ask him some questions about photography. Then we're gonna do truth or drink. So he has to tell the truth, and if he doesn't want to tell the truth, he has to take a shot of something.
Okay.
And then we're gonna do shoot, marry, or kill, and shoot like photo shoot, not the other shoot.
Photo shoot.
Yes. Okay, so we'll get started. So how did you know that you wanted to be a professional photographer?
So I grew up doing music mostly and playing shows and writing my own songs and performing covers and all of these things and musical theater. So I actually fell in love with photos when I would see album art. So when I would be walking through, like, I don't know if you had it in New York, but we had FYE 5. Do you know what that is?
No.
It's like a record, or like a, CD.
We had Version.
Oh, so we weren't that cool in the cornfield.
Records.
Yeah, we weren't that cool in central Pennsylvania, but I had this store and I used to love walking through and just seeing the photos. And honestly, it was all about what caught my eye. I feel like even before I knew if the music was good, I would pick up album based on the album art. So that's sort of where the love for it started for me, when I would also see like covers in magazines, and I was obsessed with Britney Spears.
Yes.
What gay man wasn't? But so for me, I loved seeing like different versions of these stars, where it'd be like, you'd see their album art and then they'd do a promo for it and it was like a concept.
Yes.
I just thought that was like such a cool thing.
Because it is. It's
Yeah.
like a really
So
cool thing.
that's where it started.
Okay, and so what makes a good photo?
I think that first off, lighting is everything. Truthfully.
Yes, honestly.
It really, even if it's simple lighting, it doesn't need to be, a 40 light setup in a studio. It could be lens flare hitting the right way. It creates something. But I think what creates the perfect photo, truthfully, is the photographer and the model's connection. That's what I think it comes from. I have shot so many people, and I feel like if there isn't that connection there, like a truth, or like an honest connection, and like we both are feeling it, it doesn't happen. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And then if you're like, oh my god, like we're excited and we get that shot, it's like magic.
I agree, because I've heard that there have been really well-known photographers who have shot a group of models for a photo shoot and literally had some of them leave the photo shoot
because they weren't
feeling it.
It's so interesting.
Which is like,
yeah.
From the outside, it's like, that's kind of messed up, but it makes sense with what you're saying.
I get it, because it's like you're there putting yourself out, you're putting your brand out there, and if you feel like it's not being represented the way you would like it to be, then I kind of get it.
So for those of you that don't know, Nick moved to New York from Pennsylvania in 2016, was it?
It was 2016. Yep.
2016, and then I would say you got your first big break with Stephen F. And so Stephen F is a clothing brand by this great designer named Stephen Ferber, and he started working with Stefan. That's actually how I met you.
Yeah.
I met him at an event,
At an event,
Yes. And yeah, so that was like how you got like your big break in New York City with photography. So what details do you believe like make the best photographers? Like how do you go about focusing on specific things like in your work, like you did with like Stefan F campaigns?
I feel like, sorry, what's the question?
Yeah, so what details do you believe like help make you the best photographer? Like what details do you hone in on and focus on while you're shooting?
So for me, it's all about being flexible, even though that actually can lead to a lot of stress and a lot of, it could lead to tension. I feel like being flexible is the best way to do it because you never know what's going to happen during the shoot. Like, I mean, if it's rained, it's been really hot, it's been, you're shooting a fall campaign in the middle of summer and it's, everyone's sweating to death.
Yes.
But I feel like the best qualities come from being creative while you're shooting. I usually don't go into a shoot thinking this is how it's gonna look. I could have an idea, but I do feel like sometimes you're working your way through a shot, and we've run into this too, and we're like, oh, that worked, and that's not even what we were thinking, but sometimes it's just all about getting the magic when it happens. If it's too pre-planned, I feel like it doesn't make me excited. So then when I'm shooting, it's just,
Yeah, because you kind of want things to be organic. And then something magical can happen out of that, even more so than what you planned.
Yeah, and I do think that a lot of people work better if it's pre-planned, and they can sort of like, just go with what they initially thought, and they don't, because it makes them nervous to be in the moment. But for me, I kind of like that improv of the shoot, even though it's planned.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, if that even answers the question.
No, it does, because it actually leads to my next question, which I was going to ask you if you do any research at all before a shoot, or does it depend on what kind of shoot it is?
I think it's a good question. It depends. I mean, if it's the first time that I'm shooting something, like the first time I shot a jewelry campaign, I was like, obviously, there's models and it's a portrait, but also it is about the jewelry. It's not about the model, even though the model is bringing the jewelry to life.
Yeah.
So you have to shoot it in a way where it's like, the face is there. It's about that as well, but it's also like, oh, there's the earring, and how does the earring draw the viewer's attention before the model? Not before the model, in addition to the model.
Yeah.
So it is it's not a beauty shot where you're looking at the skin, even though you see all of these things, and it is about all of them. There's a way to sort of hone in on what you're shooting. So I do research sometimes, especially, like I said, if it's something I've never done. I will at least get a couple ideas. And there's so many amazing, talented people out there that come up with these incredible ideas, and I always like to make sure that I notice that and give the respect to them for coming up with these ideas, because it's, in a very saturated creative community, it's really hard to be the first.
Yeah.
And you probably aren't the first, but that's okay. Take what you've seen and make it your own, or take, inspiration and make it your own, but just always know that someone out there worked hard to create whatever you're using
for the
shoot. Whatever knowledge you're using or whatever idea you're using. If someone did it before, make it your own.
I think that is an excellent point, because I feel like there are so many models, photographers, so many people in the creative community that it's hard to stand out, even if you are really...
Sweating.
It's hot in here, guys. We had to turn the AC off so we could get the volume good, and I'm sweating too.
So is the wine. The wine is also sweating. So.
So I think that's good, because there's so many talented people, and they can get lost in the sea of other talented people, and even non-talented people, So I do agree with you that you have to give them recognition when it's due. Exactly,
and I've always kind of felt this way, and I mean, tell me, I'm sure you have too. We've talked about this before. I've always felt like, and this isn't being there's room for everybody. I really do mean that. Like, there are so many amazing photographers. There's so many amazing models. There are so many amazing musicians, whatever it is. Like, it is a world of competition in a sense, but there is actual room for everybody.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna do something that this person doesn't do and vice versa. So I think that's an important lesson to learn too, especially in New York City.
Yes, I agree. Has anyone ever been unhappy with your work? Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, in the very beginning of my career, and I was doing like family pictures, and you know how people are with their kids. It's like I got these like really cool, what I thought were really cool photos of this child, and you know, he was serious, and it was just like the wind was blowing, and he was little. I mean, he was not in the mood to be at a photo shoot. And, you know, then the mom did come back and she was just like, I wish he was smiling and all these things. And I'm thinking, weren't you at the shoot?
Yeah.
He wasn't happy that day.
Yeah.
So I can't, you know, I'm not a weatherman and I can't paint a smile on someone's face if they're not having it.
Especially a
little
baby,
kid.
Yeah.
So that was really actually the only time that I can recall that that they wished that it was different, but I felt like it was out of my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's been people that haven't been happy, but who knows?
Yes.
Can't please everybody.
Exactly.
That's also a lesson that you learn.
You can't compare yourself, which could be hard sometimes, and then you just can't please everybody. You just do the very best that you can do, and then it's like out of your hands from there.
Totally.
Yeah.
Hard to learn, but once you do, you're like, this is gonna save me later.
Exactly. What was your #1 favorite shoot that you have worked on?
My #1 favorite shoot. Gosh. That's hard because I feel like they are all different, of course, and I know that sounds like a cop-out, but honestly, like, there are things from certain shoots that I loved and, you know, was so happy that I got to be a part of it, and then there are things from other shoots that I'm like, if I could bundle all of these things into one, it would be perfect. So I really, really loved traveling with Anna Maria. And I love we're very creative together. And I love, even now with what I'm doing with the skincare, when I take it with me, it's like getting it out of this element that I'm so used to now, being in New York, and taking it to Mexico or a beach or like somewhere that just gives it a whole new life. I just appreciate always, you know, I appreciate being somewhere else when I'm being creative. It's weird. When I wasn't in New York, I wanted to be in New York. And I love New York City. I'm not leaving. But there's a spark that happens when you're somewhere else. So I would say when I was traveling and shooting a lot
in Mexico.
A few years ago, yeah.
Yeah. Those are like really cool shots. He did a campaign for this swimwear brand, and it was in Mexico, and it was beautiful. It looked staged.
Thank you.
Like the setting.
It wasn't, but we were on a little boat, so.
How would you suggest a change in artistic direction when a client has like explained their own ideas? And I'm assuming that happens a lot with wedding photography, possibly. Like they might be like, this is how I want it, and you're probably thinking, that's not
gonna work.
Yeah. So like, what do you do and how do you go about that?
Normally, that's a really good question, and I can't wait to answer it. Normally, when I know in my head, I'm like, this is not gonna work, I've learned the best way to prove it is to show them. So say someone's like, I really want to shoot on this cliff, and I'm thinking, well, the light is so harsh, or like, you see it, your eye sees this, but what the camera is gonna see from where I'm gonna be, or even if I switch my angle, it's not gonna be what they're seeing. That's happened a few times on campaigns, actually. So I'm like, sure. And we do it, and it's easier to show because your eye picks up the light a certain way. And if you're shooting without, studio lights or anything like that, where you can really manipulate the light and you're really going off of natural light, say it's, midday and it's harsh, your eye is able to process all of that. Whereas the camera, the shadows are gonna be very dark and the highlights are gonna be very bright, which sometimes is what you want. But so yeah, I like to shoot it, show the back of the camera, and then they're like, oh yeah, never mind, let's move on.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's no sort of like tension because you got to watch that too. But I've found that that's the best way to go about it.
That makes sense. Show, don't tell.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good advice.
Because then it's like people get very defensive of their ideas.
If you try to like challenge their ideas without any quote unquote proof, even though you're a professional.
Exactly. So I'm just like, doesn't work.
Yes. And the last question, or maybe I might have one more, but one of the last questions I have is, what tips do you have for people who want to take better pictures?
Honestly, get on YouTube. I feel like it is such a good learning tool. One of my favorite things that, I don't know if this is a quote that I made up, but I'm going to pretend like I did. You could buy a baby grand piano, but if you can't play the piano, it doesn't matter what it is. People have this thing where they're like, oh, that's a great lens, that's a great camera. You could take an iPhone, and if you know what you're doing, or you have an eye, you're able to still get the shots.
Yeah.
So I think that learning and using the free sort of resources that are out there, things like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and all of these things that we have now at our fingertips, I've learned so much from it. Like things that you're like, I thought that was going to be really difficult, and it took me 1 second to watch a little tutorial. And these people like put themselves out there and they're filming these tutorials and they're trying to help people. So I think it's important that we use it.
Yeah, I agree. I learned how to edit my videos with DaVinci on YouTube.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy I did. And I'm like, these people are literally sitting here in front of the camera or their computer, taking time out of their lives to help you for free. I think that's
And it's quick. It's quick and to the point. You learn something so fast, and that's how if I'm into something, I pick up on it so much faster. Like math class when I was in high school, wasn't into it, so it didn't click.
Yeah.
Still doesn't click. But sorry, just joked. It clicks so easily for me if I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, I really want to learn this. It like my brain holds on to that for some reason.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's good. So, thank you.
Yeah.
That we're not done, but that was the end of our Q&A.
Okay. Q&A.
So now we are going to get into. So what do you want to get into first? Truth or drink?
Okay.
Or shoot, marry, kill?
Let's do shoot, marry, kill.
Okay.
Or first, and then we'll go into truth or drink.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I only have like a few with shoot, marry, kill, so it's not so much. Wedding, editorial, campaign.
Oh my gosh, this might be bad for business. I am going to. Okay, so what was it? Wedding?
Wedding, editorial, or campaign. So photo shoot, not like
photo shoot. Let's we want to clarify. I would say I'm going to marry the editorial.
Okay.
I love an editorial.
I love an editorial.
Shoot the campaign and kill the wedding.
Yes.
Not because I don't love weddings, but if I'm being honest, there's a lot more that goes into. Not that a lot doesn't go into campaigns and stuff, but you have a team and you have people working together to really sort of iron out details. Weddings are, I'm so used to them now, and I'm so, in touch with what they need. But they're, it's a long process. There's contracts. There's, you're dealing with. Sometimes I've had almost 30 people in bridal parties, immediate bridal parties, mothers of the bride. If I'm being honest, no, and again, I have had amazing clients, and I truthfully have not really run into that, but it does exist, and it is a little more stressful. So it's not coming from a place of, not loving them. It's coming from a place of them just being a little extra. And if you, it's just, they can be a lot.
Yes. I have another one. I'll actually save this one for last
Okay.
because it's like a little out there for you.
Okay.
Okay, so shoot, marry, kill, on location,
Okay.
like in New York City,
Mhm.
indoor studio photo shoot,
Mhm.
or traveling photo shoot.
Okay, so I'm gonna marry the travel.
Okay.
I'm going to shoot the location. Or no, sorry,
You're gonna marry the travel.
I'm gonna marry the travel.
You're gonna shoot the location, on location, outside,
Yes.
or okay, and
Yeah.
in studio.
And in studio, I'm gonna kill.
You're gonna kill. So you don't like, that's like your least favorite out of the two?
I love studio stuff. I love what you get with studio stuff, but again, it feels restrictive to me,
Mhm.
even though it's not. Like
Yeah.
you can do anything, but for me, I love the sun.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
just using what we have. I mean, I'll use the lights if I need to, but I've just found that I get really nice stuff using what we have, and I love studios. I do, but in that scenario, I feel like they're a little more like, it'd be like the office version
Mhm.
of being a photographer.
Okay. I
Everything
see.
is so technical and so,
meticulous.
and I feel like that strips a bit of the creativity from me.
Okay. It's interesting that you say that because for me, as a model, of course I'm gonna marry like traveling
Travel.
abroad.
Hello.
Yeah, of
Marry.
course. Who would
Cheers.
love that? Cheers.
Cheers
Cheers
to
to that. Yes. But with the studio, it's interesting because I grew up watching models from the 80s and 90s shoot in studios. So
I
to
know.
me, it's just like, oh my gosh,
Well,
like I'm in a nice studio.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And listen, it's climate controlled usually, although I have been in some that are not. You know, they have like catered. Listen,
Food,
there
yeah.
are pros and cons to everything, but I just feel like it.
No, it makes sense.
Yeah,
From your
it's a
perspective,
little more
it makes sense.
rigid,
And like,
a little more rigid.
yes, and outdoor shoots come out beautiful. I get nervous because I'm like, what if the photographer doesn't know what they're doing with the lighting
Mhm,
outside, and
mhm.
at least inside it's more
Controlled.
controlled. But if you have a good photographer, then it like really doesn't matter.
It shouldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. We are going to do truth or drink. So truth or drink. You have to answer specific answers, not vague. And if you don't want to answer it, you just take a drink.
Okay.
Okay. Who is your favorite model, your absolute favorite model to work with?
Favorite model to work with. There's so many though.
You have to pick one. And that doesn't mean you don't like the other ones, but your absolute favorite one.
My absolute favorite model. Well, you, Ash.
Oh, oh, thank you. Okay. I'm gonna assume that's a truthful answer. Okay.
I love all that. If I'm shooting you a lot,
Yeah.
you guys are top for
Top
me.
favorite.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you, Anna Maria, when I shoot
Mhm.
Sarah, like all these people that I shoot, it's like, there's, again, it's that sort of magical, like it just
Yeah.
works,
Yeah.
you know? So, like you always get something good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
So for
I
me,
agree.
it's really hard to pick with that because
Mhm.
I have no complaints.
Yeah.
It's so fun to get to photograph somebody in a different, like to go back to my first answer about the album art, and then when you see them in an editorial, it's like these two versions.
Yeah.
Of it. It's very cool. Like that's what I love about photography. So
Mhm.
I love like, you know, someone is the founder of someone, or for you, it's like we're doing this, but then when we shoot you and someone sees you in a different light, they're like, oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool.
it's
Like it's
cool.
like just like it's like a cool contrast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what people don't usually get to see. That's another thing about photography I love.
I agree.
They don't always see a serious black and white version of you where you're like heads to the sky and it's gorgeous, but it's so cool to get to see that part. That's what I mean, you know?
I completely agree with that because I feel like photography, even if it's not professional photography, is a way to tell a story and to learn about different things or people from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So being able to shoot the same person in one way and then in another way, you kind of get to see another side of them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like when you did
visually.
your pop star shoot,
Yeah,
it's like it was so cool to see that because that's not you every day.
yeah,
So it was that's what I mean. Yeah.
yeah. It's very interesting.
Mhm.
So Who is the model you hated or really disliked to work with? And it doesn't have to be like the people that are the closest to you. It could be like any photo shoot that you've ever had.
I think I've actually had, and this is truthful, I've had really good experiences with people. Most people are very nice. I'm not going to say names, but
Okay.
I can't. I did have a shoot more recently, I guess, and again, it's more of just I prefer not to work with you. I just felt that they were a bit into themselves, maybe a little too much, and it felt a bit controlling when sometimes you have to let the people that the AC is off. I'm like, and these questions, I'm sweating. You have to let people do their jobs, and I felt that they were not letting me do my job. So I know that is vague. So you know what? Oh, I forgot I could drink.
Yeah,
oh shit, I should have just drank.
Yeah,
And
you
I
don't
just
have to answer. Okay, he half answered, so technically he has to drink. I get that you don't want to say because like it's an industry and it's smaller than one may think. Yeah. So I've had experiences with photographers, but I feel like with photographers, being a model is a little bit different because your experience with them is so much more important after the photo shoot takes place, because it's like, are you going to get the pictures on time? Are they going to do a good job editing? Right. Are they going to keep up their agreement of giving you a certain amount of pictures?
Right.
Are they going to complain about you to your agent or somebody else? You know? So I've had experiences with photographers where they said they were going to do one thing and they did.
And then when you approach them, they go to your agent or something.
And so I'm like, I'm not working with you anymore.
Yeah, that I've never dealt with. Again, I've worked with really good people, and this was a very small sort of shoot, but just a little off-putting. And I was like, but you're gonna run into that. So
yes. So, what favorite photographer does everyone actually love? Like I said, famous photographer that everyone actually loves, but you secretly don't.
Oh, crap. I thought you were gonna ask me who is my favorite. I was like ready to I secretly don't. I forget her name. There's this girl on Instagram. I literally don't remember her name because I actually unfollowed her. And I really loved her stuff to begin with. And listen, everyone has their own creative vision. Mm-hmm. That's totally fine. I just felt like I loved her stuff when I first started following her. Oh my gosh, I actually can't remember her name or else I would say it. And I don't mean anything by it. I just was like, I feel like now it's becoming a little too calculated instead of creative. It felt like, I'm different, so I'm gonna really force being different instead of it when it was coming naturally, or when it felt like it was coming naturally. It was like, oh my gosh, she gets the coolest stuff that you don't normally
I feel like
see.
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember her name either.
She's in New York.
She's in New York, and she's young. She had blonde hair.
I don't know what she looks like, honestly, because she doesn't post herself much that I know of.
Okay. I can't think of this person's name. So she's like your least favorite, but
she's not my least favorite. But she's a huge following, and it's again, I just not for me. Which maybe my stuff isn't for her. Yeah, that's totally fine.
Exactly. Okay. Have you ever lied about your abilities to shoot something that you weren't skilled at yet? And you did it anyway?
No, I wouldn't. Here's my approach, and I think we have talked about this before, but if I get asked to do something before I, really sign on to do it, if I'm like, I could do this, but I'm just not exactly sure, I will research. And again, that goes back to YouTube or and even when Sarah pulled me on to do some video, and I knew I could do video, but I just didn't know to what extent. And it opened this whole other portal. So you just have to be willing to learn. And I think that when I've been approached and I'm a little unsure, I figure it out ahead of time.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, if I'm really like, I cannot do this,
You
I
just
will not say that I will, because it will just put me in a bad place then.
Okay.
The cat is like...
There's 2 cats in here, and this is the most active I've ever seen them, and I'm loving it.
Oh.
He's not, he lives with them, so he's like, I don't love it. And last question.
Okay.
Who is a celebrity that you would never shoot, no matter how much you would pay for it?
Celebrity I would never...
Whether it's like...
Do I need to...
No, it's just fine.
Somebody I would never shoot.
Like you just don't like them, like you would never work with them. And if you don't know, you have to drink, or if you don't want to answer, you have to drink.
You know, I don't know.
Okay. I know there's somebody I would not work with. I might work with them. I don't want to say.
Drink.
Okay, I'm gonna drink. I don't know. I don't want to work with them. If I ever had to work with them, I wouldn't be happy about it.
Yeah. I know who I do want to shoot though.
Who?
Adele.
Oh, that would be lovely.
And Kim K, of course. Hello.
Yes, we love a Kim K.
But Adele, her face. Oh, the cat was like rubbing up against the tripod.
Oh.
Her face is just, there's just something about it. It's so symmetrical, like so beautiful. And same with Kim K. And you know who else I would like to shoot actually? Who? Brandy. Do you remember Brandy, the pop star? Yeah.
Yeah, I love Brandy.
I just feel like, again, the face, like her skin is amazing. Like the way the light hits her face. I saw her in Chicago actually.
She's so beautiful.
Gorgeous. And I loved her Have You Ever song when I was in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
So anyway, those are some people that I would love to shoot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to work with them. I don't know what scope I would work with Adele and Brandy, but I could work with Kim because she's into
we need you with
photography.
Skims.
Yes, Skims. Hey, Skims.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yes, I would love to be a Skims model. I think Adele's face is very timeless, and
it almost looks like Victorian.
It's like Victorian,
but
Baroque,
modern,
like Renaissance, like but modern look to her. And
I agree.
Kim, like she has her own photographers and her own makeup artists, but she just has a face that if she got a very unique makeup artist, it just would transform her, and she's so pretty.
Yeah,
like I've seen some photo shoots that she's done that's not like her normal photo shoots, and it's just like, whoa, it's like refreshing.
It has that editorial,
yeah. And I'm like, wow, like they did a great job.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and Brandy, she's just, her stage presence is amazing.
Yeah, I saw her on Broadway. She was great.
Oh, really?
In Chicago, yeah.
I went to a club one time. It was like years ago. I went to a club, and me and my friends, we were just like, let's just go here. And then somebody was like, I think Brandy's performing tonight. And I was like, really? So we went into this club in Manhattan. We went downstairs, and she literally was performing. And I'd never seen her perform. And
she's great.
She's amazing. Like, I'm not shocked, but I didn't realize how amazing she is.
Live. It blew me away. I was like,
because I've seen other live performers that didn't blow me away, and then I'm like, well, it makes sense. Like, Brandy's been in the game forever. Since she's 14.
Yeah, and she's vocally
insane. Her voice is lovely. Like, her range is lovely. Like, so. So how'd you like the interview?
It's good. I'm literally sweating.
I'm sweating, and I have on a silk dress, and it's like, it's wet now.
It's hot in New York today, and we turned up the AC. So.
Yes. So thank you so
Ashley.
much.
That was fun.
Yeah. I wanted it to be fun. I didn't want it to be like dry and
very fun.
Make it a little risque.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this interview with Nick. I will link all his information down below, so don't forget to follow him on Instagram, YouTube. I forgot to mention he's a singer and he's a pianist. Yep. So how many albums do you have? I don't mean to brag,
I think 4. No.
I got 4.
Well, the first, there's a couple that are nowhere to be found. But on iTunes, I think there's 3 on there right now. I think.
Okay. So check them out. I'll link it all down below. Check them out on iTunes. Check them out on YouTube, Instagram. Where else? those talks on his website.
I'm on TikTok, but no one seems to care.
TikTok, yeah, and I'll link all my information down below. And I just really hope you guys enjoyed this interview.
Yeah,
I
it was
love
fun.
you guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Yeah. Yay, we did
I know, I'm
it.
sweating. Let's turn on the air.
Mwah. Okay, I'm going to wait. Before we do that, I'm just going to record you saying I'm Nick Finocchio,
Okay.
and you're watching
Disney Channel.
Disney Channel. Yeah, get to know me.
Is this okay to sit like this?
Yeah, you're perfect. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. Okay. Ready?